Alright, good evening everyone. I'm here to refute a speech made by Annette Taylor last week, and her speech was about Cal Poly's decision to switch from the quarter system into the semester system. She says that the transition from the quarter system into the semester system will positively influence student scholastic success. Now, after listening to her speech and reading over it, I found a lot of challenges with the evidence. A lot of the evidence she presented wasn't right, so I'm going to refute that all today. So her secondary claims was the conversion will result in significantly more transfer students. The semester system will instill academic rigor by increasing unit count. The conversion will improve retention rates, and the conversion will free time to take advantage of greater life and job opportunities. So my response to her first claim is, the first claim made was that the semester conversion will result in significantly more transfer students. The evidence suggested was that about 1/3 of students transfer colleges at least once. Now, there's no evidence to suggest that this was strictly due to a school being on a quarter system rather than a semester system. In fact, Annette said that based off the information, she could easily assess that transfers will come in with more ease to Cal Poly. There was no evidence that it does ease the transfer. So based off this claim, I did some research into the subject of transfer numbers at Cal Poly and San Jose State, because Cal Poly is a quarter system, San Jose is a semester system. So according to the Cal Poly Pomona website, there are currently 2,653 transfer students, and with a school of 22,384 undergraduate students, it's only a 12% transfer ratio. San Jose State also has a 12% transfer ratio. They have 32,000 students, and only 4,000 of those were transfers. With this information, you can see that San Jose is a bigger school, thus allowing more transfers to come into the school. The ratio is the same, just because it's a bigger school, so they get more transfers. Saying that Pomona would become a more desirable choice for transferees if we switch to a semester system, being that we are more highly ranked for academics than other schools that run off semester systems, that isn't highly desirable. I don't know what is. Because with the information, you can see that San Jose is a larger school than Pomona. So, now the second claim is the semester system will instill academic rigor by increasing the unit count. This claim is very true. A semester unit is more highly valued than a quarter unit based off time spent within that particular class, but that fact has nothing to do with academic rigor. Academic rigor is you're put to a challenge because your units aren't necessarily valued as a semester system. It's not saying that it's harder. She gave us an example from her personal friends, saying that one friend in a semester system said they have a more laid-back schooling approach. The claim is about instilling academic rigor, something not really seen if the schooling is more laid back. It's not sufficient source of evidence as it's more opinion-based. There's no evidence in her claim to suggest that the semester system is more rigorous than a quarter system. She used a website called thebestschools.org. I also looked at the same website. She received the information about the values of a unit, where she said one unit in a quarter system is 2/3 that of a semester system. She found that on the same website. When I went on the same website, I found that that same website gives examples as to why a quarter system is more academically rigorous and better. The website states that because of the short periods of time within the class, it actually forces you to become more focused and productive, and it helps you to keep you in a rhythm in the school. So our third claim is the conversion will improve retention rates. This one was the one with evidence that was very off, I should say. So she focused on a demographic stating that 20% of Cal State LA students do not return after their first year. With a quick look on the US News college rankings and reviews, I found that the actual number of students that don't return is 17%. Granted, it's not a huge difference, but it still shows that the evidence isn't accurate. And to keep the ball rolling off this demographic, the low retention rate isn't necessarily because they're on a semester system. It could be due to financial reasons, personal reasons, location-wise, all that. So it has nothing to do with the semester system. So to support my point about this, I decided to look at very prestigious schools like Stanford and USC. Stanford's on a quarter system while USC is a semester system. Stanford has a retention rate of 98% while USC has 97%. Numbers prove it, semester quarter system doesn't really have an effect on retention rates, especially at those prestigious schools. I also looked at Cal Poly Pomona, it's 90%. And the last claim is the conversion will free time to take advantage of greater life and job opportunities. Regarding her concerns about studying abroad, she says that certain programs require you to miss winter and spring quarters here, which will push her back a year of graduating. She didn't mention how taking a fall program can actually help you advance, because the semester system is highly weighted. I actually have a friend, his name's Joseph Flores, he's currently studying in Scotland right now, and he's actually going to be, when he comes back, he's going to be a quarter and a half ahead, because his semester over there, the grades are weighted higher than they are over here. So he's coming back in a better way. So the quarter system doesn't negatively impact you if you study abroad. And that's pretty much it.
All right, good setup of the structure. You give a good general challenge on what the evidence arguments are going to be, and then you, in the body of the speech, you make those arguments pretty effectively. You challenge the transfer rate with some good comparisons between similar schools and show that the rates are pretty much the same. I do think that there ought to be a little bit more specific challenge to the inferences that the advocate was making and the way they made those inferences and whatever evidence that they used, but I thought that you had good information on this particular point. And then the same thing is true for the question of retention rates down below on the third point, where you've got good comparisons that you're making. They apply to semester-based schools and quarter-based schools, and you show that there isn't really a significant difference. And then you've also got Cal Poly's retention rate, which is relatively high as well. So the notion that it's related to being on the quarter system seems to be largely debunked by that. Again, I think that there should be some challenge to the way the advocate reasoned on that, not just making your argument, which I think is a good counterclaim and does address that issue, but I think there's probably some other ways that you could add to that particular point. The challenge on the second point mostly has to do with this argument concerning personal examples. I do think there's an inconsistency when they describe their semester as being laid back, and you're saying, well, how is it more rigorous if it's laid back? That doesn't seem to make much sense. And your explanation of what the rigor issue is, I thought was pretty reasonable, although there is an assertion that suggests that we get more rhythm, we get more productivity in the quarter system. You say that it comes from the same source that the advocate used, bestschools.org. If that's a direct quote, then you need to quote it. As it is, it sounds like it's a paraphrase at best, and I'm not even sure if it's a paraphrase. It might just be an inference that you're making. So if it is evidence, that you need to cite it a little bit more specifically. And then you've got a good counter example on the fourth point that I thought worked reasonably well. All right, thank you.